Hey guys, today I'll be talking about my method and tips for studying for AP Psychology. First, let's talk about the exam time and format. The exam will be on May 19th, with the exact time depending on your time zone. There will be 2 free response questions. The first one will be on content application and last 25 minutes. An example of this would be this question from the 2018 exam. The second FRQ is on research methods in analyzing data and will last 15 minutes. An example of this can also be seen from the 2018 exam. Now to talk about content review. The exam will cover topics from Units 1 to 7, not including Units 8 and 9, which are clinical psychology and social psychology. First, skim through released practice questions and figure out which unit you are most worried about. For example, let's say sensation and perception was your weakest unit. The next step is optional, and it's only really if you have a prep book, but what I do next is I read the corresponding chapter in my prep book and then practice recalling the information with the chapter drill questions at the back of the chapter. AP Psych is heavily term-based, so a majority of my study time for this exam will be spent on Quizlets and multiple choice questions in order to practice recalling definitions and terms. After I finish reading the chapter in my prep book, I find a Quizlet of sensation and perception and go through the learn section of it until I go through every single term. Usually I try to work through the Quizlet in one day, but sometimes if there's lots of terms, I'll split it into 2 days. Also, if you're not a fan of the learn function, you can also just use the test function or any of the other functions on Quizlet. Then I go to Google Docs and create a doc of the most commonly missed terms. I'll also add terms from the unit that I find elsewhere that was not on the Quizlet that I studied. When the exam date is near, I'll print out this entire document and have it on my desk in case I want to refer to it during the open note exam. Next, I'll find an FRQ that's related to the unit that I'm reviewing, which in this case is sensation and perception. And after setting a timer for 25 or 15 minutes, depending on the length of the question, I'll go through and do the FRQ. And lastly, I'll grade it against the scoring rubric. When you're answering practice FRQs that have to do with context application, like this one, make sure to explain the term in the context of the problem rather than giving a straight definition. Also, make sure you're only explaining the term they ask for. For example, if the question asks about the pre-operational stage, do not make references to the concrete operational or the formal operational stages of development. When you're reviewing terms, it also helps to have a visual guide like a drawing or a doodle to symbolize what that term means. Another tip is to have a specific playlist or song that you listen to while studying the subject. This way you can also listen to the song during the exam and it might spark your memory of certain terms that you reviewed. I've looked through most of the previous year's FRQs, and the last time a founder was mentioned on the exam was 2009, and even then his theory was given in the question. Focus more on theories rather than the people behind them. As with the bio video, I've linked helpful resources mentioned and not mentioned in the video down in the description. Good luck on all your exams, and I'll see you guys in the next video.